Hi guys, Tom here. I'm not Sean. Sean's off gallivanting around the world, having a blast, and while he's doing that, he asked me to make a video for his channel. So thank you for that. Thank you for watching it. And today, I'm going to talk about Kim DotCom, the Bond villain of internet piracy, and his current trial to be extradited to the United States. Hi, thanks for sticking around. Now, right off the bat, I want to introduce myself. My name's Tom Coffee. I've got a channel called Coffee and Nuance where I talk about politics and sometimes I just talk about whatever nonsense I find interesting that day. But my channel is very small, much smaller than Sean's. And so I appreciate this opportunity to showcase what I do for you. If you like it, there'll be a link in the description. You can subscribe to my channel, and I'd really appreciate that if you do that. But today, I want to talk about Kim DotCom. He is currently on trial in New Zealand in their Supreme Court about whether or not he is going to be extradited to the United States based on a whole bunch of trumped-up charges. The main charge is copyright infringement, but they also threw in conspiracy, money laundering, and a bunch of other stuff like that. Now, I'm going to tell you what the case is about. I'm going to tell you why I think the case is bogus, and tell you about some things that I learned because of Kim DotCom that I think are really important for all of us. Now, if you don't know, Kim DotCom is an internet mogul. He started a company years ago called Mega Upload. Mega Upload was a digital locker, a cyber locker, or cloud storage as we know it. This was before Dropbox, before iCloud, before Google Drive, all of that. There was Mega Upload. And his service was fantastic. See, what you could do back in the day is you couldn't send big files, okay? And so let's say you had a wedding video and you wanted to send the wedding video out to everyone. Well, you couldn't just do that via email. And so with Mega Upload, you could upload the wedding video to the cloud and send a link to all the people that attended your wedding or people that didn't so that they could watch the video. And that's what the company did. This was a file sharing service that was very popular. In fact, at the time, it was like 4% of the entire internet was traffic for Mega Upload. But many American media companies, especially the Motion Picture Association, had a big problem with that. You see, because there's internet piracy, right? There's internet piracy everywhere. It's a fact of life. But people were sharing pirated videos and pirated music on Mega Upload. Well, what's the big deal? Because you can share pirated things on Dropbox and iCloud and with Google, right? You can send an album to someone through Gmail. You can Dropbox your dad the Game of Thrones finale because he doesn't have HBO, hypothetically. And those companies know that piracy is happening, so what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is his company is not an American company, not like Apple, not like Google, not like Dropbox, which are all in Silicon Valley, where the government can control them and have their reach to them. No, Kim DotCom's company was based out of New Zealand, where Americans had no authority. They are claiming losses of $500 million, $500 million in lost revenue for pirated files that were shared on his service. So the case this week does not have to do with, it's not the actual trial itself. This is an extradition trial on whether or not he can be sent to the U.S. to face those charges. Now, I'm going to tell you a couple reasons why I think it is not going to work and why the case is bogus. Now, the main reason that I don't think this is going to work is the laws of New Zealand are different than the laws of America. They just are. In fact, in New Zealand, they have something called the Safe Harbor Law for ISPs. What this means is that internet service providers are immune from being sued if there is piracy by their users. Now, there's some caveats to that. They have to prove that They will take down things that are prohibited. And in this case, Mega Upload did do all of the things that was required of them by law. And when you look at what their service is, it's pretty clear that they could be defined as an internet service provider, thereby making them immune from these types of prosecutions. Now, why I also think that this is totally bogus is Kim DotCom. That's his real name. He changed it legally. He's not an American citizen. He's never been to the U.S. His company is based in New Zealand. Why would he be held responsible for laws in America when he's not in America? It doesn't make any sense. And what's even worse, he hasn't even been found guilty. They seized all of his assets of his company. It's absolutely mind-boggling that is legal. I can't see how that's legal. Now, I understand that many people do not care for Kim DotCom. He looks like a Bond villain. He's huge. He's 6'7", 400 pounds. And he has an insane lifestyle. He did lots of things by having a huge yacht and helicopters and a compound. And if you were a journalist and you wanted to make him look like an evil Bond villain, right, you could easily do that because that's kind of how he's styled his life. But that's not the important part. Anybody could live that way if they wanted to. We need to not judge him based on his lifestyle. We need to look at this actual case. And when you look at the case, he's being tried for something in America, and he's never even been there. It doesn't even make sense. But one of the things that I think is fantastic about Kim DotCom is he really does put out a lot of information, and he's a fighter for freedom, against censorship, and against internet spying on people. You know, one of the things that I learned through Kim DotCom, I learned all about Five Eyes. That is an intelligence agency, a cooperation between 5 different countries to share all of their internet web information. And they're all English-speaking countries. That includes New Zealand, Australia, Canada, the US, and the UK. Edward Snowden had a few remarks about Five Eyes as well, and he said that it is a supranational intelligence organization that does not answer to the known laws of its own countries. When you hear something like that, you should be concerned. And I think that it is really awesome that Kim DotCom is talking about this and is putting it out so that we can learn about this. He also talked about the Utah Data Center. I'd never heard of it before, but this is where the NSA houses the PRISM program, which pretty much records every text message, cell phone call, email, everything. They take all that information and they store it in this facility in Utah. It did cost the American taxpayers over $2 billion to build. And it's really incredible how much information they're storing there based on spying on all the people. They just spy and they collect all this data. And we wouldn't know about it, but for people like Kim DotCom and Edward Snowden to talk about it publicly. Now, every criticism that I see about Kim DotCom, there's always a bunch of ad hominem attacks. And it's understandable because he may not be likable to many people. But you know what? All our heroes are flawed. I'm a huge fan of John Lennon. And yeah, he was abusive to his spouse, right? He was abusive domestically. And we somehow overlook that because of all his songs about peace and love. But it's kind of hard to get past that, but we have to do that to think kindly about John Lennon. And that's the case for all human beings. We're all flawed. I also learned that essentially the FBI is an arm of the Motion Picture Association of America. It is incredible the lengths that they go to protect Hollywood and to take orders that our FBI is taking orders from Hollywood on who to go after. So currently, the New Zealand Supreme Court is conducting this extradition hearing. But if I were to bet, I would say that he will probably not be extradited to the U.S., but I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot. For evidence of that, just look at my channel. But tell me, do you have any opinion on Kim DotCom and what's going to happen to him in the future? I'd really like to hear about it in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, if you think that I'm an okay presenter on YouTube, I could really use your support. Please check out my channel. It's called Coffee and Nuance. Subscribe. Come on over, and I think that you will like the videos that I make. Have a great day. Peace.